next part I'm going to set up with fireline. I'm going to take an arm span and a half wide. That's about 1.5 meters. I will have to check that out in inches. And I'm going to cut off my fireline. And what I like to do is use beeswax and run my thread through there. Like that. And then I hold it tight with 2 fingers, I pinch it, and then I pull the thread through one more time. And I got some beeswax on my fingers now. But it's nice and firm into that thread. And it will help, especially when you have to pull something out. It comes out easier and your thread won't damage so quickly. And we're going to set up with 32 delicas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Pull that down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. And 2 more. 1, 2. Okay, we're going to pull that down. And we're going to leave enough space at the end tail to use that later on for bezeling up the back. So, just make sure you got, what's that like? It's, I don't know, just span your fingers wide. And just make sure that you got enough to go around 2 more times. I can't tell you exact sizes, besides if I would do that, that's mostly in centimeters. Go through all the beads again and make sure you got them all and pull that through. And then go into the first one, like that you added. And for those of you who never bezeled before, well, this is going to be your first bezel. And I hope you enjoyed doing this because it's really a lot of fun. Okay, so we're going to pick up 1 delica. And we're going to skip 1 delica right here, going into the next delica like that. I'm going to pick up another delica, going to skip 1 delica, going into the next delica. And now you can see that when you pull everything tight, make sure that they're on top of each other, that you got 2, 1, 2. So basically you're skipping 1 and then you're putting 2 on top of each other. So skipping 1 again and adding 1. And you're going to do this all the way around, 16 times in total. And I suggest you pause me until you need to step up. If you never did that before, then yeah, just continue doing this, skipping 1, adding 1 to the needle, going into the next delica, and pause me until you've gone all the way around. Okay, I have gone all the way around, I just need to add 1 more. And then basically you're going into that next bead, like that. Pull that through. And now we need to do our next round. And this is basically what we call stepping up. So that means you have to go into the next bead, that would be the first bead that you added when you started to do this round. So you're going to step up in the next bead. And now it's much easier to do this. The third round is much easier to do because you got gaps right here, and you just basically need to go from gap to gap with another delica in between there. So just do your third round, and I would say pause me until you've done the third round. When your third round is done, you need to step up again. You're gonna pick up one delica. This is the one that you started in, and you're just gonna push that through one up, like that. Go through two. And now we're going to do a fourth round, and again it's easy to see because you got gaps, but you need to pull it a little tighter now because it's going to turn into a cup and you don't want to see white thread, so you got to pull it a little bit tighter so you already get sort of a ring shape like that. And then you just have to work on the side to see where you need to go. Pause me until you've gone all the way around. And here's the one where we're going to step up again in two. And we need to do another round. One more round, round 5. So just pause me until you get round 5 done, and then we'll continue. And I'm adding the last one and stepping up. For the next round, I'm going to use 15-0 galvanized delicas, and we're going in between the blacks. So I'm just going to go all the way around, going just all the way around with the 15-0s, and we're just going to do one round. And don't pull it too tight, because that button needs to go in there later on. So when you have that button in there, then you want to just kind of pull that tight and close that up. So don't pull it too tight, just kind of loosely pull that through, and don't worry if you see thread. Take care of that later. Okay, so pause me until you've done all your galvanized 15-0 golds in between there. Adding my last one, going into the black, stepping up in the gold. Then I'm going to take my needle off and put it on my end till, because now we're going to do the other side. And we're basically going to do the same as we just did, add a gold in between the black delicas. Now, you might be up here somewhere where you went in through, so you have to go and step. Let me see if I can show that on the side. Step into the nearest black delica on the outside round. Might be a little bit hard. There. And now you're just going to go also from delica to delica with your galvanized gold. So just pause me now until you've done the round. And also on this side, you step up into the black and into the gold, like that. And now you're going to add another round of gold in between the gold. And it's kind of hard to hold because there's no button there yet. To kind of hold that sturdy, but do the best you can. It'll be worth the while when you're done. People ask me a lot how many delicas do I need, for instance, for an 18mm rivoli, and I always say it depends. You know, some people beat tight, some people beat loose. It depends on how many rows on top of each other you have here. So it's trial and error. You have to just try, and when you get it right, just write down how many rounds you did, so how many toppings you have on top of each other here, because I got 3-3, so that means I did 5 rounds, which doesn't make much sense, but it's 5 rounds. But write it down, and so you don't have to recalculate it again when you do it next time. I hope that was kind of useful information for those of you who want to bezel their rivolis, because that really does look awesome when you bezel a rivoli. And getting to my last 2, and now I'm stepping up in the gold with the gold again. So that's 2 times the gold. Pull that tight. I'm going into the gold, next gold. I'm going to turn back into about 3 delicas in a diagonal line, and then I'm going to go into the next one, and I'm going to go back, and I'm picking up 4, but you can pick up 3, and I'm going to go in there again, picking up 4, and then I'm going to pull that through, and now I know that thread is tight, so I'm going to cut that off. And now, if all is correct, that button fits in there. Okay, now you can push that button down. I'm trying to get it a little bit straight in there, and then might not be all the way straight. But just kind of push that in there and see if you can pull your wildfire to kind of close that up, to hold that in there. Just kind of push that in. And we need to do another round with the wildfire to close it up on the top with the rivoli in there. So just kind of, so it's nice and tight. Looks good, doesn't it? Now rivoli is going to come in there like that. So we do one more round so that rivoli is secured by the seed beads, and just okay. So we got that done. Now we need this piece again. So make that look somewhat good. And I'm going to wetten this part of the cotton. Why? Dry cotton is very fragile, wet cotton is very strong. So I'm going to wet that up because I need to pull them in here, and these edges from the buttons are kind of sharp, I've noticed, and I want to make sure that I get that in there and that my cotton is as strong as possible. So just put my hand under the sink, and I'm just going to, like this area, and I use a towel underneath my beading pad, so all I have to do is dry off my hands. So now my cotton is wet, and I gotta work quickly because it's gonna dry up under this lamp. Pull it aside. One side of the cotton goes in here, and the other side goes in there. And now I'm carefully going to double knot it. I'm not going to pull it too tight because I'm going to strengthen it by tying it down to the beads right here. The little seed beads will be connected to those, so it can be a little bit loose, that's okay. Gonna cut that off. It's just a way to get rid of that cotton without using glue, for me anyway. So, putting back my fire line on the needle. So I'm going to pick this up, and now I'm going to start to add one more round of 15 O's in between. So going from gold to gold. And when I'm halfway around, I'm going to put the rivoli in. Now, I'm not a big fan of glue, but if you got E3000 in the house, I suggest you just glue your rivoli in there, okay? That's just the best way to go. It still will work with a knot on there. It's got plenty of space, so if you got glue, why not? As I said, I'm not a big fan, I don't use it, so I'm gonna go and be brave and do it without glue, which works also. I basically got half done now, pulling that tight, putting that rivoli underneath there. I'm going to hold on to that and I'm going to continue. And you got to put your finger on there, so it's hard to see what I'm doing. But there's nothing I can do about that. You got to go, basically just go around, do the rest of them. Now pull each one tight. So you got your rivoli covered. And to the question why you don't use glue. Don't you like glue? No, first of all, when I use glue, glue is all over me. On all places except for the place where it's supposed to be. And, well, glue eventually lets go. So I made a beautiful project once. I had a little pendant, a religious pendant, you know, I had Mother Mary with the baby. And I put flat backs on there, and I used E3000, believe it or not. And what people did was they would stand under the shower and keep that on, and then, you know, they used to fall off, and then people would bitch, and I stopped using glue after that. So, last one, stepping up. And there, that rivoli is in there, tight. And I'm going into my next delica. And I'm going to go into the blacks. I'm just going to go to the outside, basically to the bottom, to attach my bottom round to the outside circle. And I'm going to use the one that's first, so that seed bead can sort of go in between there. So coming out of the small, going in to the 11-0, and you're gonna go just see where they will fit. So you can see when you come out of this one, and you go back into these two, and you pick up the next one that right there it fits. I'm going to pick up two up, one down, and right there it fits. And now we're going to go up again. And we got that top row attached. So I want to go do that again. So I want to go through there again to secure that extra tight. So I'm going to pick up my next delica because I need to turn back now. And I'm going to move one further down. I'm just going to stay next to the row of the gold, right there. I'm going to go move into the gold, two of them, and then I'm going to turn back, and I'm going to stay in the gold. First I'm going to go in the black next to the gold, and then I'm going to pick up that round of gold delicas again. To extra secure that. So now I'm going into my 11/0 seed bead, picking up these two gold, that 15/0 and 11/0, up again in the golds, and grabbing that last 15/0 and 11/0, and going into them two 15/0s. So now I got everything tight. I'm going to turn back into the black that's next to it, into the black, and into the golds again, because I'm going to the outside line now, coming out of that middle gold. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 3 delicas, a 15/0 in between gold 11/0. So we're just going to do 3 from 11 to 11. And we're going to pick up that next one. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I suggest you pause me now until you've gone all the way around doing that. I'm now going to add the last 3. 1, 2, 3. Going into the 11/0. And now I'm going to pick up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we're going to make our loop. And we're going to go into that same 11-0. And next you go around in that loop that you just created 3 times to make that extra strong so it doesn't break that easily. So let's gotta be careful you don't push through any seed beads. It's 2 times around. And this is the 3rd time. Into that 11-0 again. And now I'm going to go through the 15-0 seed beads all the way around again, and the 11-0, and make sure that you don't miss any. One more time around. This is basically to work your thread away. I'm going to now go into the 15-0 again, up in the bezel. And I'm going to go into the black. I'm going to turn back. And I'm going to go turn back again. And this is where I'm going to cut off my thread. Okay. And next we're going to add the netting part.